Nina, tomorrow my family is going to be coming over to the house.
What? They're coming tomorrow?
That's right, and my lovely aunt will be coming out to the house as well, so make sure you clean every nook and cranny of the house.
What time do you think they'll be getting here?
I believe 11:30 or so.
Are they going to be stopping by for lunch and then heading home?
Well, of course they will.
What am I going to do? What do you think I should have made up for all of them?
Don't ask me something like that. You should be able to think up something like that by yourself. Just make sure that whatever it is you cook, it isn't something crazy or weird.
But I'm not sure what they all like to eat or even can eat. How about this? How about I make hamburgers for lunch?
Hey, don't you start getting lazy with the lunches now, too. I want you to put some effort into whatever you cook and make it fancy. If they all begin to think that I got a wife who doesn't even know how to properly cook, then I'll be the one who's embarrassed.
But the supermarkets aren't really open in this area anymore. And as for what we have in the fridge currently, none of it can really be used to make something to your liking for tomorrow.
Then you can go out tomorrow morning and then get home as quick as possible to start cooking.
But most of the supermarkets around here don't open until around 9. Going out to pick up everything I would need and then coming right back home to start cooking would mean I'd only get close to an hour and a half to cook.
Then you need to figure out some way to make all of that work so that you have lunch ready by 11:30. And don't forget about cleaning up the house for us. My aunt is a clean freak and will not shut up about the house if it's not spotless when she gets here. And don't forget about cleaning the front yard and backyard up. She's the kind of person where if she sees even a single weed growing, she'll go wild.
You need me to clean up the yard as well before then? Today and tomorrow is only rain, so having to go out and do all of that for you by then will be tough for me. And if I already have to go out shopping tomorrow morning, then I don't think I'll have enough time to get that taken care of as well.
Then you'd better get to it right now. Rain has nothing to do with you getting your job done, so make sure you get it done and that you get it done right.
Luke, it's already past 9 now and I can't see out there. Do you expect me to carry a flashlight around all night trying to pick weeds one-handed? Had you just told me about this a little bit sooner, then I could have actually done some work out there. I'm sorry, but at this point of the night, I just can't.
There was no other option for me since I only just got this message from my aunt a little bit ago. They weren't able to come around during the holidays last year, so they're wanting to come now. They'll all be coming out here, leaving behind whatever else they were doing to say hi to us, which is why I want everything to be perfect for when they all get here.
I understand what you're wanting, but with all these things I have to get done starting right now, it's too much. I still have to get your dinner cleaned up and do the laundry for you. If I have to also clean out the entire house and go out and weed, then it's going to be the break of dawn by the time I'm finished with all of that.
As long as you get everything done before the family arrives, that's all that matters. Forget about sleep and get things ready.
So you're asking me to stay up all night now?
Well, if you go to sleep, you won't be able to do everything in time, right? So you'd better get to work right now if you want to have any downtime at all. And if tomorrow there's even a single speck of dust on the ground, a single weed out in the garden beds, or something off about the food you cook up, you can forget about having any lunch.
Aren't you taking things way too far by saying that?
Are you gonna go against what I've asked? For someone who can't even survive without me around, don't you even dare! You haven't forgotten yet, have you? I'm the one that made you, a woman who left her job a year ago now because she can't work, my wife.
You're the one not remembering that correctly, though. I had to leave that job because I was being bullied by my boss at the time.
Well, getting along with your boss so that you don't get bullied is part of being a responsible adult. But for someone like you who can't even communicate with others properly, it makes sense why you can't even work out there. You even said it yourself that you were so relieved to be made my wife, right? You felt better no longer having to work for a company, correct?
The last place I had to work made me depressed. So, of course, getting out of there made me feel relieved and everything.
Jumping to the end here, you're not meant to work in the real world like other women can. In other words, the only way you can survive is by having me as your husband, right? Which means you understand a little better now what you're supposed to be doing, right? If you don't want to be kicked out of this house and my family, then you need to make sure to get your job done the correct way here. Hey, Nina, there's a silver flash drive on my desk upstairs, right? I was gonna put it in my bag this morning, but forgot about it because I was in such a rush. I want you to go and grab it and bring it to my office right now.
What? You need it right now?
I do. It's gonna be very important for my tasks later this afternoon.
I'm sorry. Getting that out to you right now isn't going to happen.
Why can't you do as I said?
Because I'm in the hospital right now, Luke.
Huh? Why are you in a place like that?
Remember how last night that really hot oil from the pan I was cooking in got all over me? Well, it burned me worse than I thought, and this morning I woke up with some serious blistering on me. So the only choice I had was to come here and have the burns looked at.
Oh, you're talking about that? You really are such a clumsy idiot, aren't you?
The reason that happened was because you threw that plastic bottle at me, though. The reason I ended up burnt is because you did something so stupid while I was cooking with oil.
Well, it's your fault for not catching it properly, right? So don't you dare start blaming me for that.
Recently, Luke, I've noticed that you've been chucking a lot of random things at me. Something like that is really dangerous, so I'd like you to cut it out. This wasn't even the first time I got hurt because of it either.
You're only getting hurt because your reflexes are so poor, right? And what makes you think you can even go to the hospital when all you are is a housewife? You're wasting away our medical insurance, aren't you?
So, you're going to tell me that I can't go to the hospital at all now because I'm a housewife?
Well, it's not like you're the one making any money, right? Don't you find that you're living a little bit too luxurious going to the hospital over a small little burn from some cooking oil?
So, I'm not even allowed to bring myself into the hospital to get help anymore? What the heck do you see me as, Luke? Am I some kind of slave to you now?
Nothing I've been doing to you should lead you to thinking that you're a slave. Now you're just making me look like the bad person here.
But look, you're telling me that I'm not allowed to go to the hospital after I've been seriously hurt. It's like you're not letting me have a basic human right.
I guess all of this talk doesn't seem to be working for you, huh? I'm just telling you that you can't be going to the hospital over a small injury like that burn you got. Now stop trying to change the conversation, making yourself look like the victim here. This is the reason why I hate having to talk to and deal with idiots.
I'm here because this isn't some small little burn like you continue to say it is.
You said that just a blister had formed on it, right? All you had to do was run a needle through it and let out the fluid and then get back to your daily life, letting it heal on its own.
Well, everywhere I looked online said that you're not supposed to break open the blister.
Stop taking everything the internet has to say on it as the truth. You really are the most stupid idiot I know. I'd like it if you used that head of yours to think on your own for once. That's the reason why you're so useless and couldn't do your job before.
Me not having a job has nothing to do with this, Luke.
No, it really does have something to do with this. Anyhow, you don't need to be at that hospital anymore, so you leave that waiting room right now and go get my flash drive to bring to my office. There are things on that flash drive that I'll need for my meetings this afternoon. Hey, are you even reading these texts anymore? Reply to me right now, acknowledging that you've read all of this.
I am reading everything. I will have the flash drive to you by 4 p.m., so just hang tight and wait for me. I am next in line to be called back to be seen by the doctor.
You're really dragging this all out now. I guess I have no choice. Do you understand what I'm saying? I want that flash drive in my office by 3 p.m., all right? If you're late by even a minute, I'm not gonna go easy on you. Now you hurry the hell up, you useless bitch! Hey, I'm gonna be meeting with a customer tomorrow, so make sure to shine my shoes by then. And take my suit to the dry cleaners and have it ready for me by the end of today. That means you take it there right now so that you don't forget. Recently, you have been of no use to me, seriously.
I already handed in your suit to the dry cleaners, along with those divorce papers to the courthouse.
Huh? Divorce papers?
Luke, that jacket you threw at me earlier today had filled out divorce papers shoved into its left pocket, right? I took a look through all of it and you even had it all signed. I made sure the lady at the front desk could have and process them.
What? You have it all wrong. You go back there right now and get those papers back from her.
She already took and processed them, so it's too late now. Thank you so much for filling out everything properly so that she didn't have anything to hand back to me. And now you and I are just strangers to one another.
What kind of selfish crap have you done? Are you screwing around right now?
What? I found the letter that you had written to me as well in your suit jacket's pocket. What was written inside of it shocked me at first, saying that you could no longer handle living with me and wanted me gone with a divorce. But then I remembered what you said about having to do as you say, and so I didn't go against you and made sure to hand the divorce papers in. You always wanted me to listen to you, right?
I did, but this time it was different. I never wanted to actually hand you those divorce papers and that letter yet.
So, you had no intentions of handing them to me, but you got them all ready just in case? I don't see what you think is so wrong with me handing them in for you today. At this point, it's too late to think about that now, because I already handed them in, and we are a divorced couple. I've already gotten most of my things together now, and will be leaving your house for good.
Huh? Where the hell do you think you'll be going after?
What does that matter to you?
It matters a lot to me. I'm not going to allow you to leave my house.
Who do you even think you are, bossing me around like that still? To me, you are nothing more than a stranger now. That doesn't have any rights regarding me anymore.
Even now, I'm still your husband. And for starters, how do you even plan to survive without me around you anymore? As someone who's always had to rely on me for everything.
I was not relying on you for everything, so I'll be perfectly fine on my own. I don't need you keeping me in your house anymore, so just leave me alone. I will find my own job again, and I will be able to make my own income again like things were before I married you.
Are you kidding me? There's not a job in this world someone as useless as you could do. Someone who's nothing more to this world than a mindless cockroach.
I'm not just some mindless pest. Actually, I had already talked with some family, and they were able to set me up with a job and everything. One of their friends happens to be a farmer, and they are currently in need of hands. I'll be able to stay out on their farm for a while, and they will give me food and everything as well while I work. So, my plan is to go there and try my best to see where I can get.
Stop saying such stupid things. You really think you'll be able to do something like farming? Especially when you don't even have any meat on those bones of yours.
Stop judging my ability to work on a farm only based off my physique. You may not see it, but I can do a whole lot more than even you probably can. You're just wanting me to think that I can't do anything on my own in order to keep me by your side, right? That way you won't ever have to do anything for yourself, and you can have me slaving away at home for the rest of your life.
You can't really be serious right now, right? Are you sure you didn't bang your head on anything this morning?
Sure, when I saw those divorce papers and the letter in your jacket's pocket earlier, it was like getting punched in the head after the amount of shock that I had felt. But that only lasted an instant, because after that, my eyes were completely opened. I finally saw that this was my one and only chance. God gave me the chance that I had been needing to finally run away from this horrible life I'd been living with you.
You don't have to go out into the world and live on your own again, so you come back to me and stay by my side where you've always been.
Who the hell do you think would want to go back to the life of being your slave? Sure, for a second there, I was leaning back and forth on whether to really divorce you or not, since it has been your income keeping me alive. But when I thought about all of the time I'd wasted being with someone who doesn't even care about my health and safety, I knew what the right choice was. It was not being beside you.
Have you already gone and left the house yet? If you have, you get your ass back here right now! I was able to get some marriage paperwork together for us to bring into the courthouse. I've already signed everything, and as long as you place your signatures on here, then we can go back to the way things were.
I'm not going back to the way things were, though.
But we can! As long as you come and sign these papers, we can! So you come back here right now!
I'm not going back to sign those papers, and I'm not going back to you. I no longer want to go back to that life I had with you before. I'd rather have the life I'm going to have now, even if it isn't as secure as the one I had under you. I want to become free again, and have the life that I had before I ever met you.
Why do you keep going on about such nonsense right now?
If you really want to take me back as your wife and make me into the slave you were using me as before, then you'd better explain some things to me first, right? What the hell was your reason for having that filled out paperwork and a letter written to me wanting a divorce? If you never wanted for the two of us to end up divorced, then why would you go through the effort of making up those two things?
I didn't write those things because I wanted to, but because I had to.
Now you're making even less sense, Luke.
If I tell you what all happened there, are you gonna come back to me?
We'll just have to wait and see about that. But if you at least tell me what all of that was about, then I'll give going back to you some thought. So, Luke, who was it that forced you to write that letter to me and fill out all of those divorce papers?
How can I say this? My girlfriend.
Excuse me?
We were only really together to have some fun, so you can't really call her a girlfriend. It's just, I don't really know how to explain all of this, so I called her my girlfriend just then.
So, you're confessing to having had an affair while you were with me?
I suppose that's how things would seem.
I'm starting to get it now. And that's your reason for wanting to divorce me, right?
Not right at all. I was just with her in order to have a little bit of fun, but that woman got the wrong idea from it. She started to go on and on about when I would be leaving my wife. She told me that if I didn't leave you soon and left her behind, she'd go to my office and tell everyone there about it. So in order to get her to shut up for a while, I made up a fake divorce letter and filled out some paperwork. That's all.
I was always wondering why recently you'd been coming home from work later and later. But now I finally know what that was all about. I can agree with things a little better.
When it comes to things like having fun with other women, all men are doing it.
You can't seriously believe that every man is doing something like having an affair just for fun. You just happen to be a pile of trash is all. Well, it's not like any of that means anything to me anymore now. You and I have already gotten our divorce now, so how about you go ahead and get married to her now?
Huh? There's no way in hell I'd get married to someone like her. Who the hell would want to get married to such a young and stupid child like her?
What the hell was that you just said? Sure, she may have just been for fun, but you were the one that chose to have sex with her, right? Which means you have no right saying those kinds of things about her.
The only thing she knows how to do is please a man, and that's it. She has some really nice breasts, and her face looks pretty good in dim light, but her head is so bad that she can't even speak correctly from time to time. It was just her looks that got a man of my position to move her up a little bit in the company, as long as she pleased me in some ways. Had she not had that body, I would have fired her for trying to lead me on in a heartbeat.
So, it's someone who works in the same company as you? Well, she's not the only one you've been making fun of. You seem to have enjoyed doing the same things to me, right? To you, her and I aren't that much different from one another, are we? If anything, to a man with the ideas of you would be much happier with someone like her who has a job than some idiot housewife like myself, right?
What are you talking about right now? Sure, you can't work a job or anything, but your family has a lot of money and you went to a really good university, right? Her family is all poor, and she never went to college or anything after high school. She's the kind of woman I could never show to my parents. And when it comes to women, they don't have to work in the first place. The job of a woman is to take care of the home and nothing else.
Then tell me, why the hell have you been picking on me all the time for never working or anything?
I just assumed that if I used that as a way of speaking down to you, you'd listen to me a lot more.
You think I want to listen to someone who repeatedly tells me that? All you were doing was breaking my heart over and over and over again. If you do end up getting married again to someone else, you'd better be careful about that. Don't hurt any other women like you'd gone and hurt me.
Wait! You really just had the wrong idea about all of that. Let's get back together now.
No, thank you. Not only did you treat me like crap when I was your wife, but the thought of how you were having an affair as well makes me want to vomit now. I have had enough of your kind for one life.
Nina, listen to this. I just had a talk with that woman I was with behind your back, and we've broken up now. She said a lot of crap about me, but I just ignored it all and threw her away. So could you please come back to my side now?
What makes you think I need to go back to being with you just because you broke up with that woman?
I'm no longer involved with her anymore and will never be seeing her again. And I promise that from here on out, I will never have another affair ever again. So could you please come back to my house now?
Not sure how many more times I'll have to say this to you, but I'm not going back to you. I'm going to change my life for the better.
But I've had a change of heart and everything, Nina. I want to apologize to you for all of those horrible things I'd said about you before. I am so sorry.
The fact that it took you this long to say sorry to me for some of those things means you'll definitely do it all again to me. I get what kind of man you are, because I've been watching you for years and years now.
I understand that what I did really made you lose all your faith in me, but can you please find some way to give me one more chance? I promise that I won't take advantage of you ever again.
You were taking advantage of me?
I just assumed that no matter how mean I was to you, you'd never stop loving me and would never leave. I'm sure that at one point you never wanted to leave me either, right? Well, I was wrong about all of that as you were slipping away from me right in front of my own eyes. I am so sorry for never noticing anything sooner.
Disgusting.
What?
No matter how many times you apologize to me, I will not forgive you for what you've done, and I will not marry you ever again. And now, after all the hell you had put me through during our marriage and for having cheated on me with that other woman, I'm going to get a settlement from you.
A settlement? You're joking about that, right?
From now on, I'm going to have to fend for myself, so I would like for there to be a little bit of money coming to me. With both the verbal and physical harassment, as well as you having that affair, I have two very good reasons for getting a large settlement out of you.
What are you talking about? So all of this was just for the money?
Excuse me?
So that's the way you're gonna wring me of my money and then throw me away? Even though I did so much for you over the years. Sure, I did some pretty bad things to you as well, but I was still taking care of you in my house, right?
Huh? Cut that crap out right now, acting like you're the victim of anything. Who the hell do you think you are saying all that crap after having caused me bodily harm? Everything you are doing to me is considered domestic violence. Now that you're aware of that, you're going to pay me as much as I ask, and then we can stop talking. I do not have it in me anymore to go on and on and on with you about how sorry you feel and want me to remarry you again.
What happened to you? All of those cold things you're saying to me now, that's not like you, Nina!
What the hell are you actually going on about? The only Nina you know is the one you forced to be your slave, and that's all right? Well, the Nina you're talking to right now is the real Nina. And right now, I want to cut ties to you as soon as freaking possible.
You were once a really kind woman, though, right? You had such an open heart, and you would forgive me for anything I'd done.
I had to forgive you because you scared the hell out of me. That was never the real me then. Because of you and your harassment, my life was turned upside down. And that's why now, I'm wanting to throw it all away and start fresh.
So you're gonna throw me away as well, even though I was doing it all for you.
If you're going to say that taking away my freedom and hurting me whenever I stepped out of line was for my sake, then you're mistaken. And that is why you're being abandoned now. The reason things have had to come to this, where I'm having to punish you now, is because of your actions. For having been together for so long now, and yet you still never noticed the hell I had to go through because of you. Tell me, who the hell is the real idiot out of the two of us? After that, I got plenty of messages from Luke saying that he really wanted to see me again and that he really wanted me to get back in touch with him, but I never once replied to him. I had my lawyer give him a call one day after all the texts from him became too much for me, and the lawyer told Luke that he'd have to talk to him now. I couldn't take any more of that idiot's crying and sobbing, and that's why I made things all the more tough on him. Talks with Luke about everything were anything but smooth for myself, and in the end we had to take the whole situation to court. But in the end, I was able to get close to $100,000 from him in the settlement, and the divorce was officially finalized, and we were no longer husband and wife. Seems that Luke wasn't able to accept any of what had happened there, and he ran all the way back to his parents crying for their help. But both of his parents happened to be well put together people and told him to shut up and let the divorce happen because there was nothing else he could do. Then, in an act of revenge for having thrown her away, Luke's girlfriend, or now ex-girlfriend, went to the company and told everyone the news about how he had had an affair with her. This led to Luke being placed under investigation by the company, where they had learned all of the secret raises and promotions he'd give his ex for doing nasty favors for him after work. Things are leading towards Luke being transferred out of the state and into a new office, and losing his job as a manager, as well as having his salary halved, which leaves me feeling so much better inside. On the other hand, when things come to myself, I have been starting my new life fresh, and have had more time to really enjoy myself. I feel so much better about the person I am and can actually love me again. I am so fortunate to have been given the chance to run away from such a pile of crap man as Luke and will be forever grateful for it.